back, everybody, to another fantastic episode of the Every Pokemon Episode Ever podcast. I am one of your hosts this week, Wrestling Chris G, and on the other line with me is my best buddy, the one that will never leave me behind and never come back. It's good old Dougie Fresh. Dougie, my man, how you doing?
I don't know. Start saying enough shit.
I know I should I shouldn't say that right now. Come the roast, you'll probably be sneaking out the back door.
No, I got my head held high because you asked for it.
True.
You asked for it.
How have you been doing? We took about a week off of this podcast, and we're finally back to doing this podcast because I had some house renovation stuff going on. How are you doing, bro?
I'm good. I been enjoying this freaking ridiculous weather. 70 one week, 70 on Monday, 50 today.
I was about to say like 40, 50 today, and rainy.
Gonna be rainy all day tomorrow. You can have the house open for like half an hour, and then the breeze is like, nope.
Hey, we've been cutting down on our freaking heating bill. It's all windows open, just breeze into this house. That's all.
That's all well and good until it starts sprinkling on you.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's kind of where you cut it off. Yeah, it's been good. Been watching the college basketball tournament. That's always fun. That Friday or Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday, Sunday.
Did you make a bracket?
Heck no, and it would have been busted after Friday night because everybody named Mama was because everybody has the freaking 15 seed from Jersey City going to the Sweet 16.
I have a family member that I forgot what game it was on it was this past Sunday, and he had a 4-way parlay going. He bet $75 with a $965 payout, and he was so mad because he lost because he accidentally picked the wrong team as the third out of the 4 teams,
Yeah,
and
you
was
gotta watch those.
and was rooting for it the whole time and didn't realize he had the wrong team down.
That's why you can't trust an app, man, because you make one click and you think you're good.
Mm-hmm.
Technology, man, it'll get you.
I know, but yeah, no, on my end, I'm good. Getting the house ready for the party this upcoming Saturday. It's my son's birthday. My son's birthday tomorrow, but we're throwing him a party this upcoming Saturday, which should be kind of baller. I'm looking forward to that. It's gonna be a lot of running around these next few days. but yeah, everything's good. Some news that we can kind of get into. Um, Me and you have officially agreed, Doug, that we are no longer going to be doing the history dates on our episodes going forward due to the fact that we're going to be having repeating dates going forward and dates that we have already done in the past, especially with us at the moment right now doing 2 shows. So you're talking like double the amount of work, and it seems like they still to this day kind of put out episodes around the same time and same dates on a weekly basis. So we decided to cut it, and we're going to fill that spot. We have an idea. We're not going to do it this show, and we might do it starting the next show. We'll let you know, but we have an idea of what we're going to do to fill that spot. But as of today, we are not filling that spot. It's just not happening today.
Yeah, it was just kind of one of those things where it's like, okay, we were loading up an episode the other week, and it's like, wait, I recognize this date, and sure enough, you go to a couple websites and you're like, okay, because I remember you talking about this. Or then it's the occasions of did we do this date, and you have to go in the backlog and look, and you might say, well, just make notes of what you do. Well, that's not the point,
Yeah.
because even if if we end up doing a date that we've done 4 times, scraping the barrel for a fifth thing to find on that date, and that's not good. And it's just it's getting to be repetitive. It's getting to be monotonous. There's been times where I felt bad for making you do your homework on some dates, and you're clearly just trying to get 2 sentences out and move on. And I'm like, no, what happened after this? And you're
I was
like,
like,
that's not important.
yeah, luckily we wasn't doing video yet because you would have saw my face like, "Man, you shut up." But no, on a real note, and the audience will never hear, but we had we had a couple things where on the last video, I mean not video, on the last podcast we did, we were kind of scraping the bottom of the totem pole like you did, and then for me, I had a freaking birthday, and I completely took it out of the podcast. I mean, it sounds like a great conversation going through, but even you said you kind of felt a little awkward doing the one that you had chosen, and I was like, well, if that's the way it's going to be, I was like, we don't need to do that. Just have a good show and just move on from it.
Yeah, I was on my walk when you sent that text about, like, kind of moving on and getting another idea, and you get like the initial, like, the message comes in, you can kind of grasp it, and you're like, it's kind of bulky, which meant it's at least a couple sentences, and with you, it's hit or miss into what it is. So it's like, oh fuck. So I had to stop because I had to because I'm outside and it was during one of the sunny days, and even with the sunglasses on, like,
Oh, you
oh,
pulled the stunner shades out, Doug?
you got to. You can't be. So I stopped real quick and got under a tree and look. I was like, oh, thank God. It's like it was just like I felt bad doing my last one, and I was like, this if this is going to be it going forward, where I'm having to look into divorces. You know,
That's true.
I don't want to celebrate that.
Yeah, but yeah, I forgot what it was, and it's gonna hit me over the head at some point. But there was something that we were talking about in one episode, and I didn't want to take it out, so I censored it. But I did a funny censor, so I'm sure you'll hear it because you normally listen to the first like 15-20 minutes of our episodes. So when it happens, I'm sure I'm gonna get a text from you just going, "Okay, that's the funniest shit I've heard all day."
Hasn't gone out yet.
No, no, it has not.
Okay. Okay.
No, I think we still have a couple weeks left before it hits the free feed. But
Okay. Well, don't tell me. I'll see if I find it on my own.
oh yeah, oh yeah, you'll know because it's the only censored thing. So when you hear it, you're gonna be like, oh, okay, all right, cool. Because normally we're an uncensored podcast. It's just I was like, okay, well, we can't say that, but
Been
this
a couple.
conversation.
There's been a couple times for sure.
Yeah, so I'm like, yeah, we're an uncensored podcast, but it got to the point where I was like, okay, I don't want to take this out because it's fucking funny as shit, but we can't say this word, so I'm gonna take this word out, and it's still gonna be hilarious. but um, but all right, everybody. But to no avail, I am still going to say when this episode came out. So today we're doing episode 83 titled Pallet Party Panic, or translated from Japan, Masara Town setting off on a new journey.
Good
So
Lord.
yeah, I know it's it's a mouthful. This episode premiered January 28th, 1999 in Japan, and here in the States, December 4th, 1999. So literally two ends of the spectrum. It's just we they waited 11 months before we got this episode here in English. So, but this is basically the ending of the Indigo episodes, everybody. Because after this, I mean, yeah, we don't get a new theme song, I think, until like two more episodes from this. But um this is basically saying goodbye to the Indigo. We're on our way over to the Orange Islands, Doug, and I'm glad you picked um keep going down this route because I threw at you earlier today. I was like, okay, we're kind of at a clean slate. We can go to a different Pokemon show, and we're like, and no, not we, but you were honestly like, you're like, you know what? We started here, let's keep going on the regular podcast. If we want to switch things up, like if we hit a specific part in black and white and we're able to go and do something else for that time being, if that's what the audience wants, we can do that. But when it comes to the originals that we're doing right now, let's keep the originals where they're at. And I like that you chose that, Doug.
And truth be told, it's a matter of convenience because at last check, which was just a few minutes ago as I was logging on, season 3 is still up there.
Yes.
Um, so I mean, it's kind of like let's keep riding it until they force our hand.
I think when they
Um,
finally do force our hand, I think I think either I'm gonna find a way, but I think I'm gonna get you on that Amazon bandwagon at some point, so you get those nice little subtitles, so we can have a free flowing thing. But I'm sure at some point we'll have to. But right now, I mean, I didn't they just put Gold and Silver out on the Pokemon website, Doug?
would you consider gold and silver?
Well, that would be the season 3 that's on there right now. Like we have right now as it stands, we're still. If you go on Pokemon.com, we're still on season 2, and I believe we have a handful of Orange Island episodes in there until we cross over to the season 3 territory. I believe.
Yeah, no, I couldn't tell you when season 3 got up. I just know it's been up
Okay. So
because
hopefully
it's still
hopefully they keep
main.
it there.
I think we're safer with that than we were with black and white because season 3 is still majority main cast.
Okay. So, all right,
I
you
mean, I
ready?
say that now and then I say that now and then it's gone next week.
I know. I was like, shush. So, you ready to jump on into this episode, bro?
But I need to go shut my door.
Okay. You shut your door. I'll get this episode up and I will start this week's episode. All right, everybody. So, we start this week's episode with a return to Pallet Town. So, the narrator is basically going, he's like, after the Pokemon League, Um, the whole town is invited over to Professor Oak's. Basically, it looks like it's in his backyard, and all of the friends are here to welcome their heroes, even though their heroes is just Ash Ketchum, because Ash Ketchum is here in Gary's not. He's on another adventure. And he starts off by saying, I'd like to thank everybody who came out and supported me throughout the Pokemon League. I just want to say thank you very much. And freaking Pikachu is just so damn cute. Pikachu is looking up. Uh, he has a glass of what looks like orange soda or orange juice. And Pikachu's like, Pika. And Professor Oak sits here and he's like, thanks to Ash for representing us so well. And we all owe Professor, and then his mom goes, we all owe Professor Oak a big thank you here today because if it wasn't for him giving Pikachu over to Ash, Ash wouldn't have started his journey the way that he did. and made it to the Pokemon League. So everybody thank Professor Oak. And everybody just starts clapping. But I don't know, like, bro, like Professor Oak and Ash's mom, they complement each other. I'm just saying. I'm throwing it out there again.
You quit with that.
You still don't see it?
See it. I think you're reading into too much that isn't even there to begin with.
All right. But but Professor Oak sits there and he's like, "All right, everybody, let's all salute Ash for finishing in the top 16 at the Pokemon League." And everybody in the town puts their drinks up, and Ash thanks Pikachu again, and Pikachu is looking so cute, and Pikachu's like, "Pika." And then we get the title card, and Doug, if you want to go into this next part of the scene, it's all yours, my brother.
So we come out of the title screen and we immediately get Brock just shoving a turkey leg or a chicken leg in his mouth, and he's got a kebab in the other hand. He's just chowing down, and he's like, "Oh, Pallet Town sure knows how to throw a party, don't they?" and and Brock's he's over there double face. He's like, "Yeah." And Misty's like, "Well, I mean, we're kind of being selfish just having all this party to ourselves. We should invite our Pokemon out." And Brock's like, "Well, that's a fine idea." So he puts down his meat products, and he throws out his Pokemon. And it's a noble thought,
What's up?
and I understand it. What did Brock and Misty's Pokemon do?
I think it was more along the lines that they're inside of Professor Oak's backyard where all of the Pokemon are. So, since all the other Pokemon are there that didn't do jack shit in the Pokemon League, but they're out celebrating and eating some delicious food, why not bring out everybody's Pokemon?
Yeah, so this is where the whole everybody gets a trophy thing came from.
Jimmy sat on that bench and kept that bench warm all summer.
Yeah, all summer.
He gets the best cedar award. but but yeah, as you said, Doug, Brock sends out all of his Pokemon to go and chow down on the delicious food. Misty brings out Godin, Staryu, and Psyduck. Where's Starmie? I know she did. Did she leave Starmie with her sisters?
Fido left Starmie after the battle, but I don't remember that specifically happening.
I don't either. But um, I guess it did. And then we got Squirtle, Bulbasaur, and Pidgeotto coming out of their balls for Ash. No, and then as he's getting ready to send out good old Charizard, so Charizard can eat some food. Char Ash gets bonked by Misty and Brock, and they're like, "I don't think Charizard's a good idea." And Ash is like, "Well, why the hell not?" And he thinks back to Charizard just not giving him two shits and burning him and not listening during the volcano badge and my final thought, I mean, he didn't even think about it, but Charizard didn't do shit in the Pokemon League. That would have been one of my thoughts in this scene because it just happened. He's the reason he lost the
Did
Pokemon.
he gloss over that seriously?
Yeah, he did. Oh wait, no, he
Oh, he
didn't.
didn't.
No, he didn't. It was the final thought. Okay, and
But to be fair, if you blink, you miss it because it
yeah,
was like his last thought. So yeah, no, that should have been the only thought.
yeah, that would have been my only thought. And Ash sits there and he's like, "Yeah, I'll invite Charizard next time." Now, I know I'm thinking too much into this when I say this,
Okay.
but haven't we established in previous episodes that Pokemon can hear you inside of their Pokeball?
I don't think that's come up in this series.
Oh, okay, okay. Because I
It's
was like,
come up.
Because I'm sitting here and in my head,
Oh, in the episode where the Pokemon get separated from everybody, and
yes,
the whole
okay,
episode, yes.
okay. So I'm sitting here and I'm like, okay, Charizard's in the ball. He's licking his lips and he's like, food, I'm gonna eat some food. And then Ash go, I'll invite him next time. And then Charizard's like, this MFer, if I wasn't gonna listen to him before, I'm damn sure not gonna listen to him now. So I'm sorry. That hit me the wrong way. When I was watching this, that's all I thought of. So all right. But Misty goes, "It's all right, everybody. It's time to dig in." Psyduck's over here, freaking tripping over himself. Bulbasaur didn't give two shits and just climbs on over him. And Misty is over here saying that he's grown up a lot since being in the Pokemon League. So, Doug, you want to go over this next part?
I don't think he has grown up.
Neither do I.
Because if he'd grown up, he wouldn't have thrown a fit in the first. Oh yeah, Ash and Pikachu go racing over, make a beeline for the food, and Misty's like, "I'd like to rethink my statement," and we find out the Team Rocket is basically manning the hibachi, and they're preparing. So this is a catered function, basically,
Yes.
and um, which is it's a nice touch. Oak must be making that money, um,
He's the professor.
and
Everything is given to him for free. He's like the mayor of the town.
well, there you go. And Ash walks up, and well, we hear him off screen. He says, "Excuse me," and everybody, and he says, "I'll take 3 supersized orders, please." Doesn't specify
No.
he wants, just says 3 orders, and they have it. Um, and Team Rocket's like, "Our plan is working perfectly, and we're gonna grab that Pikachu." And yeah, okay, but now, so they're just now starting on his order, and she's like, "Oh well, this will fix him up," and she's just got essentially like a bottle of sriracha, and she's just wah. And James has spicy mustard on some meatballs, and he's just wow, just with a paintbrush, and
Super strength
just
wasabi sauce.
meows just, and then they pop up and they say, "Have at it," and it's these 2 big giant takeout bags, and like, oh, this kid's asshole is gonna bleed, and uh, he, he walks over to the table, and now I'm gonna be picky here because when they first threw out their Pokemon, Goldeen was just bouncing along with everybody else, having not a care in the world. Get back to the table with everybody. Goldeen and only Goldeen in a kiddie pool, not Squirtle, Psyduck,
Well,
Staryu.
Godine is a fish.
I don't care. You know what? I will grant you Psyduck and Squirtle. I will fight you on Staryu.
Well, you know what? They actually acknowledge that in Pokemon Legends Arceus. Like, if you
That
go,
they do.
they do. If you have any Pokemon that's not a water Pokemon, when you throw it out when you're in the water, the Pokemon gets a floaty. You know,
Oh,
I've never seen. I actually have not tried like a Godine or a Magikarp. If I were to throw it onto land, if it would get some type of like bubble or something. I'm not sure. That's something I'm gonna try doing now because
I think you have to try it now.
yeah, you've piqued my interest on this. But okay, as you were saying, so they're all getting ready to start eating their food. Doug.
Ash comes over and he's got this food, and all his Pokemon are just beaming, and Pidgeotto's on her little perch. And I guess we're just saying fuck the Pokemon food today because he just puts down a couple of boxes, and Bulbasaur, Squirtle, and Pidgeotto just start chowing. And Brock's got a big old heap of noodles, and he's just chewing. and all of a sudden he just he's just Squirtle and Bulbasaur are going crazy, and Pidgeotto is just like Ian, and Squirtle basically lets out flamethrower, and Misty's like, "All right, Star, you help put everybody out with your water gun attack." Star, you just and just basically drenches everybody, which doesn't work. It should be milk, but there's no cow Pokemon. Um,
Not yet.
and well, not yet. What gold? I think right.
Yeah, milk tank.
Gold,
Yeah.
gold, yeah, gold, silver, yeah. Um, Ash is basically like, "Oh, what's wrong? Can't handle a little spice?" Ha ha ha! And he takes it. He's got a meatball, and he just and just he's immediately just it starts coming out of his nose, and he's on fire. And in all the commotion, Pikachu gets grabbed. Why does Togepi never get grabbed?
Because nobody wants Togepi. I mean,
That's
I think
bullshit.
we had that in a previous episode where Togepi got grabbed for Giovanni, and Giovanni's like, what the hell am I supposed to do with this?
Well, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, because that happened right before they got that Ash got the Earth badge, right? Like Togepi. So
Right.
all right, but yeah, as you were saying, Doug, in the middle of all that commotion with Ash, mouth being on fire, all of a sudden his mouth is no longer on fire once he starts seeing a bush going to the back of the stand where Team Rocket was handing out all this hot food. And Team Rocket starts going, prepare for trouble, make it double. And then the freaking stand, the legs just pop out. And there's, it turns into like a big robot, and then all of a sudden the freaking Meowth balloon comes popping out of it, and it's now they literally made their air balloon into this stand, and now it's back into the air balloon, and they're going to take off uh, from this occasion with all the Pokemon.
Team
So
Rocket is not that smart.
no, so Team Rock, they're at first off, I'm gonna pause this. They're at Professor Oak's house, and Professor Oak has every Pokemon that a trainer has sent over to him. Why the hell would they choose this spot to go and steal Pikachu? Somebody
They're
tell
not
me.
bright.
No.
They're not bright.
And honestly, and I think this is the first time Mrs. Ketchum's actually been there when Ash is being uh, troubled by Team Rocket as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, because she was at the stadium when he got accosted on his way to the stadium.
Yes. So, but it's at this point that Ash, Misty, and Brock figure out that it's Team Rocket, of course, and they're like,
Figure out.
you're not leaving anywhere. Like, why don't you eat this food?" And then all three of them just go and whip their food over to Team Rocket, and Team Rocket's dumbasses had their mouths wide open for this food. And the food, and I blame Meowth for how hot his mouth got, because his mouth, he got 3 balls, then 5 balls, then 9 balls, and it was just one after. I see your face looking at me, but I see he had these damn balls fly into his mouth, and
Hate when that happens.
and all of Team Rocket's mouth are just sitting there, just going, hot, 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 hot. And then their mouths are no longer on fire anymore, and they jump into the balloon. Meow presses the button. So apparently, this fire sauce is only like fire for like 3-4 seconds, and then you're okay. So that's how they could eat this shit.
It's enough there to sting you, but it's not going to stick around, which is not how it works.
No, that's definitely not how it works. And I can attest to that with fucking Ghost Pepper. Uh, story for another day. Story for another day. But but we have Team Rocket.
Oh,
I felt
have the ghost pepper wings. It'll be fine.
shush. We don't tell that story right now. Um, but Team Rocket blast off in their air balloon, and then they literally drop the bottom of the air balloon, and they're hanging Pikachu with Pikachu's arms tied up. That must hurt like a sumbitch. I'm sorry.
Around the waist.
What's up?
Said it was around its waist.
I don't care if it was around its waist, its arm, or whatnot. Like when you're hanging like that, that shit fucking hurts. So
Are we speaking from experience?
no, I'm not. It's just I mean, yeah, it's just common sense. I mean, it's not like Pikachu's not wearing a harness. Like I can go freaking skydiving and it'll be perfectly fine. But if I jump out of that plane with a thing around my waist and then all of a sudden the rope just tightens up and just goes whop, like my stomach's gonna hurt. I don't know. I don't care who you are. It's all your weight around you.
All well and good until your chute doesn't open.
And yeah, for real. We don't talk about that though.
Yeah, I don't. I look. I'll say this. I'm never jumping out of a perfectly good airplane. If I get in an airplane, I intend to land with the airplane.
You're not gonna jump out, Doug.
Hell no.
But what
I'll go
what
down. Then
what if the only way out of
oh,
that plane is by parachute?
going down.
You're going down?
I've lived a good life. I'm going down. I've lived. I've lived. I've had deuces.
No, I'm picking you. If I'm on that plane with you, I'm picking your ass up and you're gonna jump with me, kicking and screaming. Chris, I'm not jumping off this plane. You better not. I'm not gonna jump off this plane. But I bet when we hit that ground, you're gonna smack me real hard, and you're gonna be like, "Well, thank you for saving my life, but I did not want you taking me with you."
Hit you. I'm not going to tell you where I'm going to hit you because that way you have a chance to cover up. I'm going to hit you.
Actually, I think I might get away because by the time we hit the bottom, you're gonna be paler than a ghost. I've seen
Right?
you on a roller coaster. I know how you are.
I hope you paid attention because that's the last damn roller coaster I'm ever going to get on.
So, all right. Team Rocket is blasting away, and Ash sends Pidgeotto up to go and help cut Pikachu loose. But Team Rocket at this point is throwing bombs out of the air balloon, and it's just blowing up all over Professor Oak's backyard. And Professor Oak's like, "This is awful and disgraceful," and everyone's running around because the bombs are blowing everything up. And Ash tells Pidgeotto to go over and use Gust, and Pidgeotto, oh no, he tells it to use Quick Attack to get close up to the balloon and pops the balloon. And as the balloon is falling down, Meowth hits another button and another balloon pops up. And how convenient! And it has a nice little number 2 on on the
Oh,
Meowth.
I didn't see the number two. Oh, it
Yeah.
sure does.
And it's at this point that freaking um Jesse sends out Arbok to use Poison Sting on Pidgeotto, and Pidgeotto just gets whopped, and just Ash runs over and catches Pidgeotto, and Pidgeotto just whimpers. And it's at this time uh, Ash sends out Charizard, and Doug, take it away, my man.
It's like, it's the only shot I've got. Misty's like, it's risky. And he's like, do you see Pikachu hanging from that basket? I don't have a shot. And he sends out Charizard. And Charizard, ah. And he's like, I'm counting on you, Charizard. Go get Pikachu, or please go get Pikachu back for me. And Charizard's like, humph, humph. And he scoffs at him and throws up a little firebolt, but then he sees the food and he's just, la, la, la. And
Just like that, Doug. Ah,
just like that.
ah,
And Ash is like, oh, come on, Charizard, please. And um, Charizard goes over, he's reaching for an apple, and one of Team Rocket's bombs just explodes the whole fruit tower, and Charizard's pissed, and he's like, "That was lunch, you bastards!" And he just goes swooping up, and like Team Rocket's like throwing all the bombs they have in the balloon, and Charizard just says, "Run!" And he just swings like one wing and just takes all the bombs right back at Team Rocket, and Team Rocket goes cartwheeling away. We're blasting off again, and Pikachu just is falling in free fall, but Charizard, thankfully has that Charizard speed, and he just swoops him up and catches him. I think at its heart, I think he understands, Pikachu Pokemon, and and Ash is like doing an end zone dance. He's like, Charizard, finally listen to me. I can't believe it. This is awesome. And Charizard just comes by and goes, blah. And he,
Straight fireball to the face.
Ash just goes, I guess not. And um, Charizard is just, flying around the party, just causing havoc and just gutting up, tablecloths, and the party goers are like ducking for cover. Meanwhile, Mrs. Ketchum and Oak are just sitting there with their plates just chilling. And
Mrs. Ketchum's like, Charizard's the life of the party.
And Oak's like, well, that's a way to put it, I guess. And Charizard's just stomping and just breathing fire and just left a swath of destruction. And she's like, oh, I knew this would happen. And she's right, but what was the alternative? They let him get away with Pikachu, and we do a quick cut, and Team Rocket's like falling out of the sky, and we see they land, pardon me, high up in a tree, and they're like, well, that was quite a fall. And we see Jesse's getting poked, and James is like, I didn't do anything. And you know
I'm sure she's used to getting poked.
that I'm fine with.
Cut it out, James. Not right now. Because that's kind of how she said it.
Yeah, but I don't think James has the balls to be that assertive. I think it's got to be Jesse's in the mood or nothing happens.
Yeah.
Um, and Meowth's like, we picked the wrong time to to drop in, and we see the trees just populated with Pidgeotto and Pidgeys,
Yes.
and they're just surrounding them. Ah!
And from here we see um a sparrow just come down and just start whacking Jesse in the face, just going whack, 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 whack. And she's like, "Oh, well, what is going on?" And she looks up, and we see a whole bunch of sparrow, and then what looks like the leader of the bunch, the pharaoh, at this point, and pharaoh is flying straight in, and Jesse just starts, "Ah!" And then we go into who's
Ah!
that Pokemon, and this week's Pokemon is Pidgeot. Pidgeot. So
I wish they wouldn't do that. I really do wish they wouldn't do that because that fucking foreshadows the whole fucking thing.
yes,
Pisses me off.
I know. I mean, normally when they do that, it's the Pokemon's already been seen in the episode, but this one hasn't been seen yet. And man, so we get back to the party, and Professor Oak has treated Pidgeotto uh, because Pidgeotto had poison sting from Arbok, which made it probably get some poison inside of its body at this point. But Professor Oak has treated Pidgeotto for all of the attack, and Pidgeotto uh, acknowledges that Ash Ash meant well, and that he did not mean for him to get hurt. So Brock also acknowledges like Pidgeotto as a stand. Pidgeotto will stand up to any kind of attack for Ash. And like that basically they're saying Pidgeotto is his day one, which I mean Pidgeotto kind of is. But how often in the Indigo Plateau, Doug, have we seen Pidgeotto actually get used during all of this?
Not often.
Not as often as you would think, right?
Oh, and like, still frustrated that he caught a wild Pidgeotto
Why?
because he should have had to catch a Pidgey like everybody fucking else.
But if it's wild and it's out there, I mean, by all means, catch that something.
Oh, you catch a Pidgey and you raise it to level 18?
I think so. 18, 20,
Yeah.
one or two.
It's in that range.
Yeah. And okay, so it's at this point now in the show that Professor Oak is asking for a special favor. And Professor Oak is sitting here and he's like, I have an important errand that I need you to run for me. I would ask Gary, but Gary's already on his next Pokemon journey. Doug, do you want to go over what
Even
this special announcement is?
even come to the damn party. So Ash and pardon me, Ash and crew are gung ho for it, and Oak says, "I need you to run. Um, I need to, I need you to run to Valencia Island in the Orange Archipelago." Um, and we get the standard acapella who because big word kid show.
Yeah.
Um, Brock and Misty understand what Valencia is as a sun and surfing and um like I need you to go there. I'd like you to go there and visit my friend Professor Ivy and bring back this mysterious Pokeball she recently acquired so that I can study it. Why can't Ivy study it? Um I think Oak saw that coming and he's like, well, normally we would just transfer it, but for some reason it's untransferable. So this Pokeball was the original NFT. Um and yeah, this is going to come out in a couple months, and this might not even be a thing, so that's kind of funny. Um, and this is where you say, normally I'd ask Gary to go, but he's already on his next Pokemon journey. In fact, he was so damn busy he couldn't even stop by to this party. And Brock immediately goes, Valencia Island, babes, and just he's got a fantasy of like girls hanging around him, and he's just, ha ha ha, I'm in my board shorts, and he's like, we'll leave right now. And Misty's into it, and Togepi's just along for the ride. She's like a mysterious Pokeball, huh? Well, if I don't go, the show kind of ends, so I guess we kind of have to go. And we get another scene of Ash getting sent off. His mom's waving and tells him to wear a clean, what, and Ash does the anime faint, which I can't get enough of that. I just love it. It's so cheesy. But and he just and so they're walking in a forest and get the kiss of death because stops and goes, this forest sure is quiet, isn't it? And really and this is when the fucking killer usually jumps out. It's not that kind of show.
Yeah, it's
But
this is when things kind of go off the rails. I was mad when this shit happened, but I mean I do like that they brought it back. Bless you.
yeah, well, I didn't sneeze, but I'm dying.
Oh.
Um yeah, so Pikachu looks up and we see the same I was going to say herd, the same flock of Hero that attacked Team Rocket swooping down. Ash is like, those are, and he goes, and that's a Firo. And Ash looks and he goes, and did he not throw his Pokédex up when they first encountered it, or did he not know which way was up and he couldn't do it?
Well, uh, w- he saw Spiro, so he knew what a Spiro was because the Dexter didn't do it for Spiro. But I don't think in any of these episodes that he's actually encountered the evolved form, which is Spiro.
Could have sworn there was a Firo in the pack that attacked him on the pilot.
Oh, possibly,
I
possibly.
could have. I mean, I'm not gonna go back and check it now because we don't have that kind of time. But I could have sworn. But anyway, we get an appearance by Dexter, and we find out that its large and powerful wings allow it to fly for an entire day, and the crushing power of its beak is tremendous. And Misty's like, I don't want to stick around and find out how tremendous the power really is. And just like, I
Oh,
wonder why Firo is
I,
attacking.
actually, no. It's all Spiro because we get a flashback,
Oh,
and
thank you, Pokemon, for good looking out, Pokemon. And wouldn't you know it, the very same Spiro that threw a damn rock at because he's an idiot, and he still is. The same Spiro that has now evolved and is now tormenting him as a Firo. And,
and that Spiro
and
that Pharaoh is a jerk because we soon find out in this episode that not only is it attacking Ash, and it's been attacking all of the flying Pokemon that's over in this area, which are Pidgey and Pidgeotto, because when Firo grabs Ash and brings it up into the air, Pikachu does his Thunder Shock to shock Firo, so Firo would let him go. Ash falls down and conveniently falls into the same tree that Team Rocket fell into about 4 or 5 minutes ago. And
right,
and Ash is like, "Oh, what are you guys doing up here?" And Jessie's just sitting here. She's like, "We're stuck because
missed a
that
chance,
up."
missed it. They missed it. Great joke opportunity. All Meowth had to do was stand up and go, "Oh, we're just doing a little bird watching."
Yeah, they did miss that joke. Jesse's like, we're stuck here because that Pharaoh and those Sparrow don't get along with these Pidgey and Pidgeotto that are over here. And if anybody makes a move, they come down and attack us. And Ash is like, well, shit. Doug.
We have like a mid-air version of the Jets versus the Sharks. Um, there's no singing. Um, for a better episode, but still. Um, so Meowth's like, we can't sit here forever, and then we see that the Spearow are doing little circular patterns while the Fearow is just kind of watching guard, kind of playing center field. And Ash is like, I got it. And um, Pidgeotto and Pidgey are too scared of the Fearow and Spearow to move. He was like, no, he said, I don't get it. And, this is Ash trying to process. And then we hear Misty from the ground saying, are you okay? And the stupidest fucking question you could ask. What are you doing up in that tree? I'm just hanging out with my pals, Team Rocket. What the fuck? Dumb question.
And
Um,
Ash was okay. I'm sorry, and I don't care who my enemy is at this point, but Ash was a dick at this point because
enemy?
Ash is like, well, you know what? I have an idea. And then he starts jumping up and down in this tree, and Team Rocket's like, "What are you doing? What are you doing? We're gonna fall! We're gonna fall! Oh my gosh! Ah!" And and Team Rocket falls out of the tree, and they hit the ground.
What do you
The Spiro and the Firo see Team Rocket hit the ground, And Spiro and Firo look at Team Rocket and they're like, "We told you not to move." And then they just come down and they just start pecking the mess out of Jesse, James, and Meowth. And James was getting the worst of it because he's the only one in the animation rocking his head back and forth, going, "Ow, ow, ow, wow, wow, ow, 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 this hurts. Oh, this sucks. This sucks." And and they run away, taking all the Spiro and Firo to go with them. And Ash looks over at the Pidgey and Pidgeotto, and he's like, "All right, Pidgey, Pidgeotto, now it's your chance to get away, so go." And nobody moves. And I'm like, what? And Ash is like, "Oh shit, they're still scared to fly away." He's like, "But there's got to be. Oh, I know, Pidgeotto, I choose you." And he sends out his Pidgeotto. And Ash is like, "Pidgeotto, lead all of these Pidgey and Pidgeottos out of here." And Pidgeotto turns around like the leader he is and just starts squawking at all the bird Pokemon. And all the Pokemon that are over there, they're like, "Okay, we'll listen to you." And Pidgeotto starts flying away. All the Pidgey and Pidgeotto start flying with it. And then it's at this point that the Spearow and the Pharaoh catch wind of this, and here comes Pharaoh to come in and start attacking. And boy, does he start coming in, and Ash's Pidgeotto turns around, sees the Pharaoh coming right at it, and Pharaoh just one hit, whack. And this is when Ash's little training to none comes in, because this Pidgeotto should have been stronger than that to take that one hit and just fall. But he gets hit once and goes straight to the ground. And Ash looks up and Pharaoh is just attacking all the Pidgey and Pidgeotto that are in the sky. And Ash's Pidgeotto stands back up and just starts squawking. It's like, "Ah!" And Ash is like, "Pidgeotto?" And Pidgeotto's like, "Ah!" And he starts glowing. Everybody's looking at him. And Pidgeotto then evolves into Pidgeot. And Pidgeot is standing there, is a big, gigantic bird that he is. And Ash finally has a third evolution that will listen to him and will be loyal to him.
Hey, now
What?
he had Butterfree.
Yeah, until he told Butterfree to leave that same episode.
That's right.
so so Pidgeot is sitting here, and Ash is like, "Oh man." He finds out that Pidgeot has twice the speed of a Pidgeotto, and Pidgeot is squawking, and Ash is like, "Are you asking me to ride on your back?" And Pidgeot's like, "Yeah." And Ash jumps right on the back on its back and is ready to go battle. So does Pikachu, and Pikachu comes as well. And Ash is like, "I'm ready for takeoff." And they just take off. And this is the first time Ash is able to ride on his Pidgeot, and they're in the sky, and they're going in for the attack. And there's Pharaoh, and Pharaoh's coming back, and it's now battle time. Doug.
So, so unfortunately, he's unfamiliar with um, moves that Pidgeot might know. So he's like, "All right, Pidgeot, quick attack," and just flaps the wings, and you just see the flop and uh, hits Pharaoh directly 3 times, and he's like, "One more." Actually, that wasn't quick attack the first time, was it? God
That
damn it, what was it? Gust
that was
attack,
Gus.
gust. And then he's like, "All right, go in for the kid," and he sends him in for quick attack, and just you see the amount of speed that Pidgeot's picking up, and he just smacks him clean one time, and like, all right, now we got to finish off this Firo, and Pikachu jumps on Pidgeot's head and jumps off and lands on Firo, and Firo looks back and says, "I'm fucked," and Ash says, "Pikachu Thunderbolt," and Pikachu's like, "You got it," and he just fly and just Firo goes falling out of the air, and Pidgeot swoops by to pick up Pikachu, and Firo's calling in for the calling in for the troops, trying to retreat. And Ash is like, "Your Thunderbolt weakened the Pikachu," and he's like, "All right, now let's go capture that Firo." Which, fair play.
Yeah.
Um, and so he throws a Pokeball, and Firo's like, "No," and he just swats it away, and Ash just catches it. And um, so they're Pidgeot and Firo are looking face to face, and all the Pidgey and Pidgeotto come up behind Pidgeot, and they all go um, aerial ace dive bombing in, and just they all just swoop by and just basically hit him, and just Firo's just blah 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 blah. Blah. I'm having a bad day, and Firo, I mean, he's barely hanging on, and um, Ash is like, "It looks like you're in charge here, Pidgeot," and Pidgeot kind of gives like, "Go on, you get out of here," and if Firo could retreat with its tail between its legs, it would have, and you see Firo flying off into the distance, and then we get a tearful goodbye scene that pissed me off.
Yeah. Ash
Pissed me the
Ash sits here and he's like, we have to go. We'll be back as soon as we get Professor Oak's Pokeball, but we need you to stay here in case Firo comes back and starts tormenting the Pidgey and Pidgeotto again. So we need you to stay here until we get back. And Pidgeot is like, all right, I'm good. And Pidgeot just flies away. Spoiler alert, everybody. He never comes back for Pidgeot. Nope.
yeah yeah. It
Yeah.
leaves a Pidgeot just hanging out.
Yeah. He finally gets a third evolution, a fucking loyal Pokemon. And he says, stay out here. I would have never released. I'm sorry. That Pidgeot would have stayed with me. I mean,
Yeah,
and we would have found a new home for these Pidgeotto to live perfectly fine. Maybe go over to Professor Oak's, but
exactly. I was just thinking that.
Pidgeot flies away, and Pikachu is saying goodbye. Ash is saying goodbye, and all the Pidgey and Pidgeotto are flying behind Pidgeot, and they fly into the sunset. And that is the end of this episode. And boy, it really did make me upset because I mean at this point, I mean he says we're gonna be back after we get this Pokeball. He forgets all about Pidgeot. He never comes back. Which I mean, in the series right now, Ash is still 10, so he can still go back and get this Pidgeot, and it hasn't been that long.
Time is a flat circle.
Yes, but I mean, still to this day, I mean, we just now in Master Journeys got his Butterfree back in the series after 25 years, bro. 25 years later in the series, we finally got we finally got Butterfree back, and we still have yet to get Pidgeotto or Pidgeot back. And
Right.
it makes me mad because the way that they're tying this up, I'm guessing we're getting someone else to take over the Pokemon series. The way that they're tying everything together, they're making sure there are no loose ends right now, bro. And it's to the point now where I think this might be the final season with Ash in it.
You think?
I think so. I fully they're shaping it up to be that way because Ash he won the league, which is what he wanted to do. He in the series that we're in right now, we're 102 episodes in, and I'm counting the Japanese version, and he has no intention of going out and getting any more badges in traveling the world. He's basically just kicking it. He's learned so much, and he's now just at a professor's house learning all he can while he's over there with his friend Go. So he has no intentions anymore of doing anything extra. And it kind
Hmm.
of bugs me a little bit, but at the same time, I think we might be getting a series with either Go, which is why they're getting us so used to him, or we're going to have someone completely new in the Pokemon series. But I believe this might be the final go round with Ash 25 years in the making, bro.
So you think that him winning the Pokemon League finally was just them being like, all right, we've got to cross this off, otherwise we'll never be able to move on.
Yep. And then now all he's doing now is just he's he's learning about Pokemon. He's doing certain little tasks, but he has no main purpose anymore outside of becoming the best trainer. He's trying to right now in the series, he's trying to climb the ladder of all he's battling the best of the best. And he's in a tournament right now, a worldwide tournament where he has to fly to different areas, battle these trainers, and the higher and the further he gets, the higher in the rank that he goes. I think he's currently out of hundreds and hundreds of trainers. I think he's finally up to I think 14 or 16 right now. So he's very close to becoming the number one and number two. But he has to be able to defeat the main guy, and
Right.
he has a Charizard, and something tells me Ash's Charizard is going to come back for that one final battle, and it's going to be Charizard versus Charizard. At least that's what I'm hoping. But I'm mad because just as of yesterday, I'm fully caught up on Pokemon with no other episodes in the Master Journey seasons. I haven't seen any of like all the other ones yet, but I'm fully caught up on Master Journeys in the Japanese version. I'm like, oh my gosh, I have nothing else to watch.
Which is not even a little bit true.
I mean, it's not, but it's to the point where I'm so entwined with what's going on in Master Journeys. Like I have been watching it back to back to back to back, and I'm watching the Japanese version with the subtitles, and I'm so into these episodes right now. And I'm just like, man, now I gotta wait on a weekly basis, and to the point where when it comes out in English, I'm already past the next batch that's gonna be coming out in English. Like
Yeah.
I've already seen because I don't even think they're gonna hit episode 100 in the next batch. I think they're gonna end it around like 80 or 90 or something like that when it hits Netflix. I'm already past this next batch, so I can't even watch this next batch in English because I've already seen it, and there's no point in really going back because I like it better in Japanese because it seems a little bit more real. But that's just first world problems.
I was about to say that's first world problems and a motherfucker.
But all right, Doug. So we can kind of kick this episode and put it into the can. How did you feel on this episode, and what would you give this on your Dougometer?
I mean, pardon me, it gets a 3, and it only gets a 3 because of the evolution. Um, and Pidgeot becoming like this protector. Um, but Ash being so damn noble and just, oh, you can stay. Never mind the fact that you're probably like one of my more powerful Pokemon. You can just stay, and I'll be back, which I won't be.
Yeah,
Frustrating.
yeah. I'm gonna give it a 3 as well for the evolution, and basically the same reasons that you're throwing out there. I do have a Sword and Shield Brilliant Stars booster pack that I'm getting ready to open. Uh, let's see. All right, man, these packs open so much easier than the ones in the past. All right, fucking dud pack again. I got white card. What what energy am I looking at?
Electric.
No, it's psychic.
God
Um,
damn.
I have a Trainer Berry card. I got a Clang, a Torkoal, a Chimecho, a Chimchar, a Mencino, a Baltor, a Snorant, a Reverse Hollow Shroomish, and my rare is an Ice Cube, everybody. So those are my cards. I am I don't know if I'm going to put any of this out, but I do have a video on for a potential YouTube video. I'm not sure if this one's going out or not, but I'm going to flash the cards because I kind of gave up on the Instagram posts. But other than that, for all my trainers out there that play the Pokemon trading card game live, um, the code in this pack is J72T4DXGYZD2N as in Nancy. And if you got it, good luck. Only one person can get it that listens to this podcast. So good luck on getting that. Otherwise, thank you for listening, everybody. Do you have anything else to add this week, Doug?
I don't think so.
All right. Well, if that's the case, go ahead and say your goodbye, Doug.
Bye, Doug.
And this is Wrestling Chris G telling all of you, I will see you next week for another episode, everybody. Take care.